Welcome back to the channel, guys. Came across this video. Still shocked by these 6 weird things about Sweden. Now this is from Sinja Paya. Probably got that wrong, but seems like her channel is fairly new. So I think this was she sharing some experience of living in Sweden for 3 years. She's been living in Sweden for 3 years. So y'all make sure y'all subscribe to her channel. Uh, Give her a like on this video and stuff. That's what I just did. But I don't know how many videos she's made about Sweden, but I just happened to come across this one on like the little recommendation thing. So we about to see. Okay, yeah, man, I miss being out of the country. Cool experience, very cool experience. Definitely an experience to do more than once, But let's check it out.
I've been living in Sweden for 3 years already, and there are some things that I still find pretty strange. And the first thing is, I noticed it when we just came to Sweden. There were so many candy shops, and it
Candy
was
shops.
very crowded every Friday. And I was like, it's strange, but okay. And then I read an article about this Saturday candies was introduced, like as an event was introduced, I don't know, like several decades ago probably, because a lot of kids, they have this problems with teeth because they ate too many candies and too many sweet things. So
Yeah, because that definitely started getting me when I became an adult. And then the cavities ain't no joke. They ain't no joke. But I have seen in lots of videos about the right time to eat the candy, buy
they
candy,
ate
lots of
too
candy
many
in Sweden.
candies and too many sweet things. So doctors here, dentists probably, decided to restrict consumption of goodies, of candies. And so now it's like before now, and still it's a habit for a lot of Swedish people to have candies during Saturdays. And so Friday you prepare yourself to have this big bag of candies. I read that it helped, and less children had issues with teeth and health after this restriction.
That's a good thing.
But as I understood, like a lot of my friends are telling me some of their like Swedish colleagues have issues with eating sweet things because they had this food restrictions, and they're like holding themselves too many times when they were kids, and during their childhood they cannot eat enough sweet, and now when they're mature, when they're adults, they're like compensating it. And I don't think it's like for everyone, but
Well, I think that's how it is. Just being a kid, you always want candy, candy, candy. I can say as I got older, like I eat candy like periodically, but I mean, there's a lot of sticky like sweets and stuff. Like especially kids nowadays eat these days. You got like gummies, other like fruit roll ups and all these things. Like there's a lot of still like sugary. Probably count as a snack more than just rent like candy type of thing. But I can say I think certain things that you eat so much as a child, you just don't like it as you get older.
it's definitely like when you restrict something in food, it's definitely cause you or can cause you some eating disorder. The second thing, and I usually confess it during my working hours or when I plan to meet some Swedish friends, and they usually counting in weeks, so they know like, oh, today is week number 24, or I don't know, second week, or we can meet, or I will have vacations during week number 13 and 14. And I was like, oh my god, this is very difficult. I Googling it all the time. I cannot used to it still, and I found it difficult to follow.
That sounds
But I
difficult.
think it's convenient.
I'm usually the type of person. Maybe in a couple of days. I couldn't say. Oh yeah, maybe on the 14th week I'll be even. That would be tough for me. I would just say whatever date it is. Technically.
Sometimes, like measuring this in weeks. But the only week I know is the first week and the second one. And
That's how
this is pretty common here, I think. And sometimes, like during August, it's a big time when everyone has their vacation, and some shops, especially small ones and restaurants, can be closed, and you can see the sign on the door there, like week number till week number another will be closed, will be on vacation. And I was like, okay, this is nice, but I really need to know which week today. I don't really know if anyone else actually uses counting in the weeks. Please tell me in comments. I also think in Sweden there are a lot of queues, and I probably never seen such queues like here because okay, first of all, I really like that Swedish people, they don't interrupt, they don't cut the queue, and they really like patient. And even I'm not sure, but like I never seen anyone to be like annoyed staying in the long queue. It's usually like expats like me, because I don't know,
we don't like waiting in long lines
to staying in the queues. But the other thing about queues is like you stand in the queue to get apartment if you're applying for first-hand apartment, or if you have like a boat or yacht, I suppose, or like you have a car and you need your parking place for boat or a car. So for some vehicle you also can stand in the queue. This is pretty interesting. And
I definitely, especially when being on a waiting list, because it can be timely, man, because you never know how long it's gonna take. Americans are impatient.
I know that in many countries you can just buy the spot, rent it or whatever, and there's no, like, it's not a big deal to have a parking spot, for instance. But here in Sweden you just like stand in queue for renting apartment. And as I mentioned in some of my previous videos, you can stay in the queue like 10 years or something to get apartment in the city center.
Dang.
And this is considered here as like normal. Another thing,
10 years is long.
Here it's very good with public transportation and also with infrastructure for bicycles. And I really like there are so many people cycling, like to get to work or like having kids on their, like, these big boxes. I don't remember how it's called, but it's pretty nice. But I find myself, it's very difficult to get from one end of the city to go to another one. And because in Gothenburg a lot of hills, and
a lot of hills in Gothenburg,
like do it on my own for like 40 minutes because I'm dying here. I don't have like enough breath for it. And I found it strange that you cannot take your bicycle with you to the tram or bus. You can only take it on train. And I was like, okay, but if I would like to go to Ireland,
I think when I was on the train, I seen somebody brought their bike. I guess I don't remember seeing that.
I'm living like far from the seashore, and I don't want to, some bags on me, and I don't want to like cycling all the way there because I wanted to enjoy it. So the only like thing is you need to buy electric bike.
Is somebody screaming?
And Yeah, so it's a bit weird. I would really like if you had the opportunity to take bicycle on board. It will be much more convenient, and I don't know, maybe some old people could also use bicycles more often if they could bring them on bus, but they probably have cars. So this is pretty weird until this day for me as well. Like if you know the person's name and surname and you living in Sweden or you using Swedish VPN, you could check how much income does this person has.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing
also
that.
you could check telephone number and what else, and address. It's a very transparent system, but I find it's like pretty strange because
Yeah, because I know here, I mean, you can find people, but I don't think you can find like their income. You can find like, background information. I don't think it go into like super detail,
I don't know, you don't always want other people know your address,
Your address,
coming to
socials, and
you
all
for
these things.
whatever reason, or knowing your phone number. So is this really secure? For instance, you could check like your
Right.
colleague's salary or the salaries, like income of people living in some region or in the neighborhood, and you also can see the median, I suppose, like, oh, you're getting more money than like other 50% of your neighborhood or whatever. This is
Wow,
pretty interesting, but still
that's
it's
a lot of
kind of very transparent, and I don't really know how people can use this data like against you, for instance. The other thing is pretty funny. It's nice, but still, I found a lot of Swedish people who is really using knife and fork, and they don't really eat like with hands. For instance, they could cut pizza or burger.
Oh yeah,
or
I heard
I
it.
don't know, like
Eating pizza with a
in some
fork.
countries, the like savory pastry is pretty popular, and sometimes I see Swedes eating like cutting the bun, for instance, and I was like, oh, this
Like
is
a
pretty
burger?
weird, but okay, why not? And I found this culture difference pretty interesting. It's not like the bad things or whatever, and this changes and like weird stuff. This is nice. This is what makes
Somebody's still over there
Sweden pretty
screaming.
interesting to me, and I really love this country. And I have a video about 10 things I really love about Sweden. So if you enjoyed this one, you can watch.
I'm gonna have to check that one out too. Yeah, but like I said, make sure y'all subscribe. Very interesting. Always some interesting things. But yeah. The calendar thing that was really was interesting. Just going by the weeks and because I know for me, like if I heard like I don't know, yeah, week 14, I guess it would be different. Like since I work in education, it might be a little different. So I'll understand this week 14. It probably lead up to this month, because of course, if you know how many months are how many weeks are in the month, and I'll go by the month. On the third week of October, then but I don't think I go over the certain amount of weeks that are already in the month. But other than that, this was good. Like I said, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to her channel. But that's all I have. Y'all be blessed, be the best, and be you. I'm out.